Hey guys, this video we're looking at the theory behind why reducing the amount of subsidies paid out to businesses could in fact improve our aggregate supply conditions in the long term. Now, as we know, subsidies are payments made by the government to help support local firms. Subsidies are payments made by the government to help support financially local industries. Now, this may be a good thing in the short term, where the government, actually uses subsidies in order to help local firms develop, help them enter or to gain some market power in an industry dominated by very large international firms. However, in the long run, this could build in inefficiencies. So we're going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of subsidies. So the advantages of subsidies, basically that it helps local firms, helps infant firms develop. And it also helps local firms compete with international competitors, and this helps retain jobs. However, the disadvantages to this are that because we're helping firms too much or to over generous subsidies, over-generous subsidies may encourage inefficiencies. So in some cases, these subsidies actually are paid to industries where we don't have the comparative cost advantage. And I've talked about this idea of comparative cost advantage a lot in the previous few lectures on international trade, because it is so important to facilitate international trade and to allocate resources. Because we are living in such a globalized world, we must produce to our comparative cost advantage, because if we don't, then we will be left behind. And so these subsidies, in fact, cause producers to produce goods where we don't have the comparative cost advantage. So such as textiles and manufacturing, where our labour costs are so high, these subsidies only aim to mask the problems that lie ahead. So the disadvantages of subsidies are that they may encourage inefficiencies being built in both resource allocation and cost of production. So as we know, subsidies provide this buffer between the profit margin or the profit and its cost. So what this suggests is that you have this cost of, say, $10 to produce this certain good per unit. You have a profit margin, or you aim for a profit margin of $5, and so you're going to sell this product at $15. However, the problem here is the market price is only at $11, so you can only make $1 worth of profit. So what the government does is that it subsidizes you $4. It gives you $4 in order for you to produce. And so therefore, you can see that the cost of production has decreased. So instead of actually increasing the $4, we can see that the cost of production is no longer $10. Let's just call this $6. And therefore we can add another $4 onto here. And we've made this $5 margin. Instead of costing $15 though, this product will be only $11. So as a result, subsidies tend to mask this problem that this firm is inefficient in producing at this market price of $11. So the disadvantage of that is that it builds in inefficiencies in both the resource allocation and the cost of production of firms. So what this suggests is that when international trade increases, and the government uses the microeconomic reform of trade liberalisation. By reducing subsidies, it helps promote greater efficiency. So this $10 here worth of production would actually stay, and that they will only make $1 worth of profit until they discover ways to cut down this $10 and to make it, say, even $7 or even lower, to being $5. So what this helps promote is that to help the firm survive, or for this firm to survive in this industry, this firm must learn how to cut their costs in order to compete with international producers. And so in the long run, we will reallocate our resources to areas that we are most comparatively advantageous in, and that would result in greater efficiency in production, and as a result, greater international competitiveness in that industry. So what this means is that we'll be able to export more, incomes will rise, and even employment opportunities will grow in these industries. Whereas industries such as manufacturing, would tend to be left behind because they prove inefficient in competing with overseas producers. So that's the basic theory behind reducing subsidies, is to encourage firms to cut their costs and to become more effective, and not to rely on the government in order to maintain their profit margins.